To continue here, so using the online calculators to find your maintenance calories is going to be the easiest way to go about that. Now, if you are a complete beginner, this is basically going to be the gold standard for you, okay? If you've been training for a while and can tell how your body reacts to certain calories and to certain diets, this is only really like a baseline. To get into it, after we find the maintenance calories, we will go into our weekly deficit target here. So, for most people, we're going to want to have to lose around half a pound to a pound of body fat a week. So that's going to basically put us at a deficit of 3,500 calories from your weekly calorie amount. So, for example, if we go in your weekly calorie amount maintenance, which for like average person is around 2,500, is 17 is 17,500 calories a week, and we're going to try to lose at least 1 pound a week. That's 1,400 calories you can eat for the 7 days. Divide that by seven. That's 2,000 calories a day. That's why I say most people are going to be going around this amount. So this is going to be a gold standard, right? 2,000 calories, 1 pound a week of fat loss per our diet. So this doesn't include any of the calories you're wasting on your workouts, your cardio. That's going to be a completely different story. For now, we're just going to focus on the diet. So after we find what deficit we're going to go into, we're going to find our daily one, right? So right now, 2,000 calories, easy. Okay, so now how are we going about eat what we're going to be eating throughout this whole week, right? We cannot be eating 2,000 calories worth of Snicker bars or pizza, right? As contrary belief that people like to say, oh, you could eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros. Technically, that's true, but in reality, no, because you're not going to want to be doing it. You're going to want to be eating, honestly, around 80 to 90% of protein on this diet, right? So our protein sources are going to come from lean meats, eggs, yogurt, protein powder. This is where you're going to be eating basically the entire time. Now, these diets, they seem like unsustainable, right? It's because they are. 'Cause you only have to do this once. If you weigh 250 pounds, you lose 90 100 pounds. You're 160 pounds right now. You don't have to do a diet like this ever again unless you get fat again. Which there should be no reason for you to get fat again after you learn how to do all this stuff. And even if you do, you'd learn how to lose it right back. So, why protein matters in the diet, right? It's going to help you preserve the muscle, especially when you're eating food that have high protein like meat and eggs. They're very satiating. So this is what's going to keep you from not eating, right? Because you're always going to be hungry. Even right now, when you're not dieting, you're always hungry every day, aren't you? You're always hungry after you eat. You're hungry on a diet. You're hungry not on a diet. It doesn't matter. You will always be hungry. It does not matter, right? Protein. The more protein you eat, the more calories your body burns. The process of the protein helps it out, right? Okay, so protein is gonna be a non-negotiable, right? You're gonna have to if you're bulking, cutting, it's always going to be 0.5 to 1 gram per body weight, right? So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're not going to want to eat, though, 200 grams of protein. You're going to do it by your goal. So if you're 200 pounds and your goal is to be 150 pounds, you're going to be eating 150 grams of protein a day. And I honestly would suggest that zero point 0.8 is the bare minimum. That's like if you really couldn't get your protein in today, like you got that. I would say 1 gram is the best, and if you can actually go higher, it'd be better. There's been diets that have done 400 grams of protein a day, and it's been crazy. Obviously, it's nothing for this. It was my own goals, but the more people want to say people glorify protein too much, you need to focus on carbs and fat. Possibly, but it all depends on your goals. And our goal right now is to lose weight as fast as easy as we possibly can. So for food selection, right? You're gonna base every meal around protein. You're gonna be looking at essentially 1 or 2 meals a day, 80 to 90% protein. So I'll give you a good example. Um, 3 eggs, 8 to 12 ounces lean steak. That could be it for your first meal. People want to overcomplicate things and think you need this and that. We go into the details of this later, but for now, this is basically how you're going to be looking like. Very plain, but this is also the very easiest thing to meal prep, the easiest way to to measure the macros to put it into your calculator. This is going to make it the easiest. So we're going to our in your carbs are going to look just like this: potatoes, rice, rice, sweet potatoes, rice. These are gonna be, especially potatoes, are gonna be the most satiating foods you can eat. So when it comes to carbs, so sweet potatoes, 100 to 200 grams. Potatoes, same deal. Rice, same deal. The thing is, you will feel way more associated with potatoes than anything else. Obviously, you can have dates for your carbs, but you'd have to eat one little piece of date, and that's it. Who wants to eat that when you need a whole plate of potatoes? And honestly, you can cut them up just like French fries, and it's like it feels like you're eating fries. You put them in the air fryer. So fats. We're going to keep this moderate. We're not going to go overboard, and we're not going to go low. We're going to get our fats basically from oil, nuts, and meats. Okay, and I didn't mostly also from eggs, especially eggs. If you don't like eggs, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to eat a lot of eggs, especially on a cut like this. Nutrient wise, fat wise, satiating wise, nutrients are gonna eggs are gonna be your best friend here. Olive oil, you're gonna honestly, I put olive oil there just because that's what you're gonna be cooking with. Olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. That's it. No other oils than that. So if you don't know already, we're going to eliminate. If you haven't already, we're going to eliminate any liquid carbs. Right? That means any type of juice, soda, milkshake, anything that you can down in 2 seconds and you just ate or drunk 200 calories. We can't do any of that. We have no space to basically do that when we're only eating 2,000 calories a day. So your best friend's going to be diet sodas, diet juices, waters, those zero sugar energy drinks, stuff of that nature. A lot that I use also is like flavor watering. That's super good for you. But yeah, say goodbye to hot chocolate. Say goodbye to regular soda. Honestly, um, say goodbye to even stuff that you think is healthy, like cranberry juice, stuff like that, orange juice. All of that, we're gonna eliminate it all. Okay, it's super important that when we are exercising like this and at a deficit like this, that our sleeping goals are met every single night. Okay, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is going to be optimal. Okay. All the other tiny stuff, the no screen, blah blah blah, that would be the best, but we all know we start one step at a time. Okay. So if you can't get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, at the very least, get the same amount of sleep every night. So if you're only getting 5 hours every night, get 5 hours every single night. Don't do 5 hours one night, 7 hours the other night, 6 hours one. And those are like it's your body adjusts right with rhythms, schedules, patterns. It likes the same thing over and over again, especially when it comes to sleep. So if you can't do the full hours, at least do 5 hours every single night, 6 hours every single night. So your body can adjust to it. Believe it or not, it's not that bad, and it's very doable to sleep the same amount every single day. So when it comes to training, training will be now. This is I'm just going over the basics of the whole thing, right? But training will be very easy. There's no need to complicate any of this training. Super simple. 3 to 5 days a week. That's it. Full body, push pull legs, compound lifts, progressive overload. Okay, so let's dig into this push pull legs. So that is basically on Monday or whatever 3 days of the week would be chest, shoulders, triceps. Next day, pull, which would be back, biceps. Next day, legs, your whole leg. All right, that's glutes, hamstrings, everything. Your calves, okay, quads. Very easy. So you can do it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or honestly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get over with. Super simple. Or you can pull full body, or you can honestly when it comes to training, it doesn't even really matter what your split is, right? As long as you're getting a good constant for it's 8 to 12 sets per muscle group a week to gain muscle. So anything else that anyone says to you, that's scientifically based, is all you need. So for example, two bicep exercises, 4 sets each. That's all you need a week to keep muscle. It's like this is scientific. They've made so many studies of this. That's all you need to keep and gain muscle, right? So why I say focus on compound lifts also is because we're going to be putting your body under certain stress, right? And we're going to want to not do too much volume to stress your body, especially if you're new to this and your body's not used to eating all these a certain amount of calories. You don't want to basically burn out. It is very true. You will burn out, even though you might think of it as a different way, but you will see a burnout as in the workouts start getting harder. You're just always hungrier. You're not feeling it when you're working out. All just these little things that people might say, you don't know what the program's not working. No, actually, you're actually going too hard. See, I struggle with this a lot. Actually, sometimes I overtrain so much that I honestly get sick because I eat so little and I just forget to do certain things, and I'm just doing so much cardio that I put my body in a state where I'm like very easy for me to get sick because I'm not getting all these other nutrients that will really fuel my body. So I know I'm overtraining because at the end of the week, I just literally feel sick. That's how I always know. But progressive overload, right? So it's gonna be well back to the topic. Progressive overload, right? So to speak the basics of it, one day you do 8 reps, the next week you'll do 9, the next week you do 10 reps. They get the gist of it. Very simple, right? That's the only way you can really gain strength, and with strength comes muscle, right? So now the daily structure. This is going to be the best, most efficient way that I think to structure it, right? 2 meals per day, right? Like a breakfast and a dinner, or a lunch and a dinner, right? This is what I do. This is what I tell most people to do, especially because if you condense it to 2 meals, your 2 meals are going to be bigger, right? So you're kind of going to be full those 2 meals instead of some people do 6 meals a day. Every time they eat, they're not full, right? Because they're eating tiny meals every day. So I would recommend that for people that are honestly bulking, so they can get more food in. And well, it all depends on the person, right? It all depends. I wouldn't say specifically to do this and that, but these are my recommendations. These are what I find that people and myself have it the best. Why? Because you feel kind of full. I've even have people and myself do 1 meal a day when you're on a cut. Why? Because it's easier to just eat nothing, not thinking about food all day, and then just in dinner time eat all your calories. By the end of that meal, you feel so good. You're so satisfied, satiated, and that's way sometimes it's better for you, sometimes it's not. It's better for me. I did that for a while. Just eat once a day. That way, I only cook once. I only clean once. I only worried about food once. So that's one way of doing it. So you're gonna want to eat prefer these are all recommendations, right? The last meal, higher protein, lower carbs. That would be after your workout, but you always have to have some type of carbs in your diet, right? And when we're on this cut, it's going to be basically zero snacks. Okay, the only snacks you could actually have are going to be like the fake snacks. So it's going to be like pickles, lettuce, stuff that we're going to eat just to munch on something because you just can't handle the cravings or whatever. Other than that, it's going to be not, oh, let me just eat a little bit of this and that. No, it's not going to work. We actually have to eliminate all snacks unless, like I said, there's like those 0 calorie snacks. So, cardio. You're going to walk at least 8 to 12,000 steps. This is going to put your body at such a burning fat rate. It's almost like magic when it comes to steps that people don't realize. Getting at least 10,000 steps a day is very, very good for you. If you can bump it up to 15,000, it would be the best. But for most people, if you've never even tracked your steps and have no clue what you've done, or just tracked it whenever you went to Disneyland or whatever, 10,000 steps is going to be basically your minimum every single day of the week. That's counting the weekends too. Okay. When you do this, you're basically going to burn only fat. When you walk, when you do low say cardio, it burns like 80 to 90% fat. Okay. And you're going to want to do 20 to 30 minutes of this. That means walking or walking on the incline or doing the elliptical or doing the bike for at least 20 minutes post workout. Okay. And people need to get used to doing 20 minutes post workout. For the longest time, I would do like 5, 6 years ago, I would do 10 minutes of cardio after my workout, and it would feel like a lot. I'd feel like I'm doing a lot. Like I'm doing my 10 minutes, I'm doing better than most people now. I'm doing 45 minutes of cardio every single day after my workout easily. Okay, it's just what you have to get used to in your normal. And you have to also believe that 20 to 30 minutes is actually not a lot. Okay, it can go by super fast. What I do when I'm doing 45 minutes of cardio, I'm literally just scrolling on my phone the whole time. Remember, this is low steady state, so I'm just walking on an incline. I'm just scrolling. You do this on your bed. You do this basically most of the day. You could do it while you're walking. It's super easy, or even like listen to the books or stuff like that. So the only way to see progress and to make sure you're doing the right thing, and basically also seeing where you're doing right and wrong, is going to be tracking. Okay, tracking your daily calories is going to be the best thing and the only way you're going to lose weight. I don't care if you think if you can do carnivore, just eat whenever you're full, or take this and that. Tracking your calories is the only way to properly lose weight. Okay, so your best friend is going to be whatever app you choose to track your calories. There's a millions of apps. There's a lot that I recommend. There's some that I don't recommend, but I'll leave it up to you in this video. Find the best calorie tracker on your app store because that's the only way you can actually track what you're eating to get your 2,000 calories a day, right? You're going to weigh yourself also every morning. Some people like to say, oh, if it changes so much, oh, I do it once a week. Just do it every morning, but we're not going to care about it every morning, right? It's just to jot it down. We're going to take all of the 7 days of the week and divide it by 7 to find the average, right? And then our average weight will be what we're really looking at and really tracking progress through the average, right? And you will see, because you will see as you diet, it will always move. It will always fluctuate. Okay, it's never a straight line, and it goes up and down so much to actually think that your weight between Monday to Wednesday is anything real. It's really not, because you have to your sodium levels, potassium levels, the water you drink, how much food you eat. Even if you just eat, for example, 50 more carbs that day, you're going to be absorbing a lot more water. Your weight's going to change. Let's say there, there's so many variables when it comes to weight that doing it every day, yes, doesn't make sense, but it's only to track and to find the average. So that is why we're going to be weighing ourselves every day. Okay. And every morning, obviously, because that's when most likely your stomach is going to be the emptiest. Or if you're, let's say, you're eating once a day and your meal is like at 5, 6, 7 p.m., try to weigh yourself before every meal, right? Try to weigh yourself basically before you break your fast, right? For if it's in the morning, then do it in the morning. If it's in the afternoon, do it in the afternoon. That's going to be basically the most accurate weight for the day. You can only basically accomplish all this if you truly believe that you can, right? If you don't believe that you can, if you think it's too hard, if you think that it's not sustainable, whatever you think is going to happen. Like I said before, you are always hungry. Even when you are not on a diet, you're hungry. Right now, if you're not dieting, I know by the time you finish the breakfast, 2 hours later, you're gonna think, I could use something else, right? So it doesn't matter if you're dieting or not, you're always going to be hungry. Okay? Most of the time, I would say a good 80% of the time, they're cravings, right? They're not actually hungry, right? Now, the missed meals and the meals and the days that we eat more, right? Do not let that snowball, right? So if you miss meals or you miss a track or if you went over 200-300 calories and the next day, continue as normal, especially when you're a beginner. There are ways later if you're in advance and you've done this for years how to mitigate it. But for now, as a beginner or someone just intermediate, go back to your normal schedule. Do not think that you need to do more cardio. Don't think that you need to eat more because you missed this and that. Just continue the regular planned schedule and you will be okay. If you cannot stay consistent with this, right? So you do this 1 week, 2 weeks, and then Monday comes you fail, Tuesday you fail, Thursday you fail, Saturday you fail, and then Monday comes again and you stop. Those 2 weeks, you just wasted them. Don't think that you cannot do this because you definitely can. And I'm going to show you guys in all these videos how to do it. But you have to know that you really have to do this every single week, all right? So you have to also put a goal into yourself that's also realistic, right? So 8 to 12 weeks is a realistic goal. If you have never dieted before, ever in your life, and you said, you know what, I want to change, let me try it, do it 2 weeks at a time. If you could If you could do it for 2 weeks and you said, wow, I did the 2 weeks, then you can do it for 8 to 12. Believe me. You just don't believe in yourself that you can. But if you could just do those 2 weeks, that will give you enough motivation and basically self belief that you can to continue on to finish. Because within 2 weeks of consistent dieting, you can very easily lose 5, 10 pounds. And if you're very on the heavy side, you could lose basically easily a pound a day. And it's very easily, and very doable for someone to do. Okay. Now, awesome. Like I said before, you can only do this if you believe you can. Right? If you're going into the diet day one with thinking, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. As soon as you get a thought of, I'm hungry, I want to eat this, throw it away. As soon as you get any negative thought of, maybe throw it away. Any negative thought you have, push it away from you. If you can't push it away from you, ignore it. When you're doing a deficit like this, you need to basically push everything negative out of your life, right? Because I can't imagine being hungry, training, doing all this stuff, and then a bunch of negativity and stress hovering over you. It's not doable. You cannot do it, right? Especially if you're very stressed. So when you stress, it makes you hungry. Like that's another reason why a lot of bosses are overweight, right? All the stress that comes into them. It's that high cortisol. It makes you hungry, stresses you out. It basically kills your inside. So it's very important for you to stay positive, have positive things around you, the people close to you. Let's say, for example, um, if you're a guy and you're married and you have a wife, a good thing to do is like to make sure if you're gonna do this, to like talk to your significant other and tell them like, I know I'm doing this myself, but I need you to be on my side with this because like, especially if you're living together, you cannot do it alone. Because if they're not going to be in the same diet as you and they're going to be eating just random stuff and regular food, and you're going to try to eat, um, your planned meals, it's not going to work when you see your significant other eating fast food. You're here eating 4 or 5 eggs a day. You know, it was going to be very hard. So you need basically them to be on your side, and anyone close to you. It doesn't have to be anyone close to you. If you're living with your parents, any of them, to keep positivity around you. Anything negative is not going to be good for you. Okay. So on that note, this is very doable. I'm going to post a lot more in-depth videos of basically how to lose weight. This was just a very just top of the iceberg if you actually decided to lose weight, and what would be the easiest and most sustainable way of doing it. I believe so. Okay, because there's a million ways to lose weight, and millions of people have lost weight a million different ways. Okay, but this is what I believe and what I've seen, what I've done is the easiest, fastest, and most sustainable way to lose weight.